Hello, everybody. This is Michael Anfield here. Thank you for joining me, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click that little bell icon if you want to receive notifications in your email. And subscribe to the email newsletter if you want to get some free things and you want to be updated by the latest news. And of course, getting my books because I have written 8 books and still I have at least 2 or 3 more in the works in the next few years. But now it's going to be a little bit on hiatus status. So right now I'm not going to be writing much for the next few years, working on the community. So just a little bit about myself before I start this topic about um, we can't really trust anything. We don't really know anything, okay? Um, so let's do this. So I am an author. I've written 8 books in the last, I started writing when it was 2010 and 2015 or end of 2014 I released a book, re-released it in 2015 called The Interconnectedness of Life, and from there 5 years later I released 8 books, some short books, some full-length books, and yeah, it's all about love and trying to create Eden or trying to create a utopian world and really understanding that what we see in the external world is really, and this is what the video is really about, what we see in the external world, the physical world, that's not all that there is. There's more than what we see with our physical eyes. And what we have to understand is that all of us, almost all of us throughout the world have been conditioned by our culture, by society, and that we can never understand anything, really truly understand anything. We really don't know what is really true and what is really not true. So let me give you examples to better illustrate this. So when we look at a tree, for example, we know that tree exists because we see it in the physical. Okay? We see that pineapple in the physical, the pineapple fruit. We see that computer in the physical. Okay? But we really don't know, um, we really can't even verify or know for certain that other things exist or other things are true. For example, if we are given a statistic, how do we know those are really true? How do you know the information that we're being presented by who knows who, is really true? So, for example, we're given textbooks in educational schools, public schools, and we believe like those are information that's true. We don't question it because our culture doesn't tell us or doesn't educate us on questioning things. So we don't question things because to question things is to be intelligent, and we can't make the vital connections when it comes to anything in our society for that matter. So when we are in school, we're taught to give the right answers from the textbooks. And the textbooks are, and all the information basically is coming from his story, man's story. Who is it coming from exactly? Who is all this information? Where's all this information coming from? When we listen to the mainstream media or the mass media, where is the information actually coming from? Now, we think it's true and we think it's real because we ultimately see, video and we say, wow, this is true, this is real. I see the video, it's really happening. And all this is done by someone, and we really don't know what's happening. Whatever's on the TV, how can we say that that is true? Even if it's a video, and even if they give you all kinds of statistics and numbers, and they say one thing or they say another thing, how do we really know it's all true? Well, I mean, who's giving us this information? So, a lot of this information comes from several sources, but the main entity that's really behind all this is governments. So, governments don't particularly write the actual information, they get people to do it for them. And we really don't know where the information is coming from, who is providing the information, and if the information is really true or not. How, even if they so-called verify the information. Like, for example, if somebody can run fast, really, really, really fast, and we actually see them with our eyes running fast ourselves, you know, how do we really know that person is running fast, truly fast? I mean, if that person is truly running fast and they're not, taking any kind of steroids or any kind of something to enhance their performance, then that's true, of course, because we see it with our own eyes. We're there, we see it, and so forth. Now, if we see it in a book, written in a book, or if we see, on Olympics somewhere, how do we know that person doesn't have some kind of enhancing drug in order to enhance their performance? We don't know that because there are a lot of people in the cycling industry and running industries that take all kinds of medications or some kind of anabolics or something that enhances their performance to make them do better at their sport. And we really don't know where information is coming from. So information basically, which is basically our culture. So we're taught information, we're pumped information into us since we're little kids. And we really don't know where this information is coming from and why we have to give always the right answer from the book. It's like if we don't give the right answer, we're not, we've got some kind of learning disability, or if we don't want to sit behind a desk or something and we're agitated and we just want to go outside and play or go outside and learn something instead of just sitting in front, behind a desk listening to a teacher writing on a chalkboard and reading from a textbook and giving the answers that the textbook says. So basically we're given textbooks and information from external sources, and we're not taught to question anything. We're not taught to question these texts. We're not taught to question his history. We're not his story. We're not taught to question anything. We're not taught to even go within to find the answers within our own bodies, or our own minds, our own intuition, or to our intuition. And we're not taught to get the answers from nature either. And nature, by the way, is within us as well. And so that's the whole thing, is that we're given a set of information and we're taught that this is all true and that everything else is false. And don't question anything. So that's the thing. We are given television, basically, which is run by, basically, either run by governments or in conjunction and partnership with governments. Because don't forget, governments have registered and created corporations, any corporations, and especially the big corporations. I mean, they work heavily with big mega and multi corporations that work hand in hand together. They work together to create all sorts of distractions in the world. So we really don't know anything in this world today. I mean, there is stats and there is numbers, and there, people are saying this and that, particularly to the COVID-19 coronavirus. There's numbers floating around, but how can we trust governments when they lie, steal, cheat, and fabricate things? And don't forget, they're behind all this, mainstream media and everything. They're behind the propaganda that's taking place throughout the world. Now, I'm not saying that things that the government says or things that the mainstream media says, some of it, like all of it, is not true. But they do lie about a lot of things. They do fabricate a lot of things. They do use a lot of green screen, and they do use a lot of manipulation when it comes to these news stories and these all the information that they're pumping out to the public. But for the majority part of it, and I always say this, for the most part, they're not here for the greater benefit of humanity. They're here to program fear. They're here to program and confuse the public. So we really don't know what's going on. But people trust that the governments are, they care for us, and they trust the media. And even alternative media is somewhat behind this as well. Because if they're not questioning every single thing, and they're not questioning every single thing in our society, in our culture, then there's something that's not right here. They're still kind of part of this herding culture. And that's what it ultimately comes down to. We are a herding culture. We herd animals. We see non-human animals as property, as food, and as other products. And we need to realize that we need to start questioning everything. Start understanding that nothing, what is out there. I mean, look at what's happening with the coronavirus and COVID-19. I mean, people are so brainwashed because they can't see it so clear. And I don't care if somebody knows a few people that are dying from COVID. Okay, this is all basically like 98% of it is all bullshit. Okay, first of all the information, all the information, all the information is coming from one entity, one institution, the government. The World Health Organization is a government organization. UN or United Nations, government organization or multiple government organizations. When I say government, I mean the entire government worldwide. Of course, led by the US. CDC or Center for Disease Control, government organization. Okay? Now, governments have never, ever worked. Electing a new politician never, ever has worked. We keep electing new presidents, and we have the same problems occur year after year after year. Nothing is getting better. Okay? Now, we probably have slightly improved on human welfare issues, like majority of the slavery is eradicated now, even though there's more slaves in the world than ever before. So-called more slaves. We don't even know, actually, because these numbers, again, are coming from the government. We don't know anything. We don't even know if trillions of animals are being killed. We don't even know if how many wars are going around out there, because This is all given by the governments. It's either by the World Bank, or it's by World Health Organization, or it's by the UN, or it's by some other uh, organization that's tied in with the government, that's giving us all these numbers and statistics that we really don't know what's happening. Like, for example, people um, always state that, okay, the population of the world is 7.5 billion people, has 7.5 billion people on it. How do we know there are 7.5 billion people? Are we counting each person? Who is coming up with these numbers? There could be 2 billion or 5 billion or 20 billion. How do we know? How do we know it's actually 7.5 billion? The government is coming out with these numbers. Again, how can we trust governments that lie, steal, cheat, and fabricate things and enslave us? People are so gullible. They believe everything. I don't believe anything that government says. Government, like for example, NASA or these scientists, are most of them are working for, for governments. NASA is a government organization. How can we trust them, right? By the way, it's 11:11. Woo, everybody! Thank you, 11:11. This is a good sign. But anyways, how can we trust the governments? Now, a lot of people say, and they say, well, it's because of fossil records and scientists and anthropologists and so forth, that the world is supposedly, the earth is 4.5 billion years old. How the hell can we know that the world is 4.5 billion years? We don't know anything. The world can be 100 billion. The world can be 1 billion. The world can be 1 day old. We don't even know, because we don't even know if the Gregorian calendar is correct. Yeah, it's been around for 100 something years, but how do we really know it's totally correct? How do we know? We don't know anything. The Gregorian calendar, I question it. I question if it's really true. I mean, it does make sense in 24 hours, because it does get dark at a certain time, it does get light at a certain time, and it does seem that it's 24 hours, but it's just because we're so conditioned to believing that, and we're so conditioned for decades to just every single day thinking that, oh, this world is 24 hours, so it must be that the world is, the earth is spinning around and it's going around the sun, like, because we're taught that since birth. We have to we have to question everything and realize that, hey, maybe what we were taught in school is not right. Maybe we're not spinning on a ball. And maybe we're not even living on a flat earth. So questioning everything is so important. My last video on questioning things actually, I think, got deleted, if I'm not mistaken. It was a while back, but I think it got deleted. And yeah, because they don't want you to question things. YouTube doesn't want you to question things. The government does not want you to question things. The culture does not want you to question things. And that's what a culture is. Cult. It's a cult. It's part of something bigger that we really don't understand and don't know, because we're so blinded and we're so gullible to everything here. So then some people will say, well, then we don't trust anything. And it's like, no, we don't trust any information that's out there. I don't trust anything nowadays. Now, I might promote something that has a lot of false information in it. Like, for example, maybe a few days ago, I promoted a video, and it has a lot of information that we can't trust because it's coming from the government again. And we really don't know if those numbers are really true or not. But the video overall was excellent, because it does talk about what we're doing to this earth and how we're destroying it, and how the main cause is eating animals and animal products. But of course, there are a lot of things in that video that just ain't correct. I shouldn't say it's not correct. I should say it's not. They're not questioning. They're just following these statistics and numbers all over the place, like everything is true. And how can we really know if science is correct or not? I mean, some people say there's true science, and some people say there's science that's backed up by corporations. And science, in my book, is still it's it's not genuine. We can't go on science. Science is what? Science is part of the culture, part of the cult, part of the conditioning. A lot of it is government funded, so we can't trust anything. We can't do anything. We can't trust nothing. We can do nothing and trust nobody, no information. I mean, we can trust people for sure, but we can't trust the information, is what I'm saying. It's hard because now that we start questioning everything, people start looking at us like we're crazy and like we're conspiracy theorists, and it's like questioning everything. Like, I understand that we need to love everyone and love everything, but and I do teach that for sure. But when things are evil, when things are not in our best interest, we have to forego those things. Doesn't mean we don't love them, um, but we just forego them. We let them go. That's it. Governments and society, we have to let go. All the information we've been presented for, all these decades, let's get rid of them. All these ideas. We have to unlearn. We have to learn the truth and ultimately learn to question, and at the same time unlearn what we've already learned before, which means that we need to question everything that we've been taught. So really, for the past, I don't know how many years it was, uh, at least 14 to 16 years of education, because I went to school, I remember, started when I was probably 6 years of age, six, seven, and then until I was, what was it, 20, 19, 18, 20, something like that. I that's when I stopped being in school, stopped going to school, and so it was a lot of years. It was at least 14 years for sure. And what that means is that I was indoctrinated for 14 years in school. I was told to do this and to that in school. And my mom didn't tell me to question anything. My teachers did not tell me to question anything. The government did not tell me to question anything. The TV did not tell me to question anything. The corporations did not tell me to question anything. Nobody told me to question our culture and what we were taught. Because we're not taught to question anything. You know why? Because we are not taught that. We're not taught to make vital connections. We're not taught to be intelligent. We're not intelligent. We're atomic uh, robots and drones and zombies that just go through life. Yeah, exactly. Just like a zombie. We eat flesh. We eat secretions of other animals. We are zombies. And we sit in behind desks almost all day long. And that's that. We get vaccinated and we get poisoned through our food, and we don't question it. We don't question anything. We just follow along because everybody's doing it. We don't want to be different. We just follow along blindly, and we go to doctors when we're sick and just do that. We never question. And people think that I'm crazy for questioning things. Oh, you don't question things. It's like I question everything. I question everything. I don't trust everything. If it comes from the government, that's it. Enough of this nonsense already. We need to start to just use our intuition, cultivate our intuition, trust nature. That's it. We can't do anything more. We got to unlearn everything. We got to get away from cities. We got to uh, live our lives the way we want to live it. Get away from this whole society, this whole monetary system. And of course, it's going to be hard. And so I have this forum that I haven't really been working on lately, but it's been around up and running for maybe 2, 3 weeks, called the World Vegan Community, and it's at peaceful-village.com/forum. And the link will be down below. But basically, what it is, it's a forum to learn about questioning everything, basically. Questioning everything, questioning governments, questioning the whole society and our culture, and creating new communities and walking away slowly from governments and the monetary system and cities and so forth. And to be, of course, self sustainable, living in veganic homesteading communities. So that is what this forum is all about. And I implore you to join. It's free, absolutely free. Join and join in the discussions and the information that's presented. And yeah, let's start to work together and create this. So thank you so much for joining me. I know this is a long video, and a lot of my videos are long, but I think it's so important to get everything in one video, in all these videos. I mean, I could talk for 2, 3 hours, but that's too long. So that's really about it for this video, everybody. Don't forget, again, if you would really like to support this channel, support me creating more videos and more audiobooks and more books and all sorts of different creative mediums, then do support my work. And you can do that by getting any of my books for sure. There's also a donate button on my website in the About section or the Contact section. So you can do that as well. And the website is weareinterconnected.com. Don't forget to check out Peaceful Village website as well, peaceful-village.com. That's going to be updated in the next, couple months or so. Right now it's on hold because of the fact that most country borders are still kind of closed due to this coronavirus, COVID-19. So I know I had a plan of doing, organizing and hosting vegan retreats and even some, renting of the rooms. And nothing transpired because of this COVID-19 pandemic that occurred. So right now I'm kind of struggling. If you want, please do support my work to keep me doing these videos and audios and so forth. And thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget again to like this video, share it around with everybody, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also subscribe to my email newsletter. Okay, that's about it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I'm Michael Landfield, and take care. Bye bye, everyone.